Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video. As you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to explain to you why the law of attraction does not work, okay? Now this can be a quite controversial title, but there's actually some real truth behind it. And now, well, I will be backing up by scientific evidence, but also I want you to use this video to provide you a little bit of an edge rather than the consistent kind of thought or hearing of saying law of attraction. Keep visualizing positively, keep thinking positively, keep imagining yourself in this kind of scenario with all the things you want in the future, right? It can become tedious, and I'll explain to you some of the pitfalls and traps that it does and why it actually takes you longer to achieve those goals when you actually take that route of purely positive thinking, okay? Now, for those of you that don't know what the law of attraction is, it is coming from the book The Secret / it is also a film, but also the law of attraction basically talks about positive visualization, okay? The more you think about something, the more the universe kind of aligns it to you, the more your kind of focus is on it, but also the more decisions that you make day to day attract yourself to it, right? Now, for example, if let's say you wanted a brand new car, and let's say that brand new car was a BMW, right? And day to day you consistently thought about a BMW, you're positively visualizing that car, and of course you went out in the world, and of course what you're going to see when cars are driving by, you're going to notice BMWs a lot more than the Skodas, the Toyotas, and all these other cars, right? Now, of course, that's because your mind is starting to focus on that brand in particular, and maybe one day or another decisions will start to align up where you actually see a BMW retailer, or you actually get to go into and see your BMW that you want. But essentially your decisions will eventually, you'll make choices that will attract you to a BMW a little bit quicker. May not necessarily make you actually purchase the BMW, but essentially your focus of your mind will help you to see that BMW more and more, okay? And that's what positive visualization essentially is that you're basically trying to focus on some sort of future that could be a dream or a goal, and basically your kind of focus is shifted to that goal, exactly like I just said. And another example is fast food. For example, McDonald's. We know how many McDonald's advertisements are out there. Like, imagine when you're just very, very hungry. I'm sure I'm guilty of it too, but when I want a McDonald's, I just keep thinking about McDonald's, and eventually I actually go out and buy a McDonald's, right? It is essentially, law of attraction talks about the focus, right? Where your mind is focused, and the more consistently it's focused on something, the more you will actually be aligned with it in some way, and more actually get it in some way, okay? Now, I'm going to be throwing a spanner in the works here, okay? The problem with this is that, number one, when you are imagining something in the future, let's say a goal or a dream, positive visualization, what it does is that it does give you positive thoughts in the moment. It makes you feel good, right? In that moment, it makes you feel good. If you're imagining, hey, I'm in this brand new shiny car, or even if you go out and actually sit yourself in this car and you feel this car, you will have these positive emotions aligning yourself with it, okay? However, I've been reading this book called Thinking in Bets, okay? And this book is actually a tremendous book for any trader out there, and it's very, very good for not only poker players, but like I say, traders, but anyone in the game of thinking in a probabilistic way, right? It is by Annie Duke. She mentioned something very, very interesting in this book, right? In this book, she explained the idea of mental contrasting, and actually this was by an NYU professor of psychology, I believe. But essentially mental contrasting talks about one side of positive visualization, which is what they call backcasting, which is where you try and imagine yourself in the future, thinking positively about some sort of outcome and working your way back. And now the problem with that is, like I said, is that it makes you feel good in the moment, which is true. That is what it does. It was what it logically does. And yes, your focus is there. However, one of the things is that it is often neglected is negative visualization, right? I can imagine the kind of shock that I've just basically said. Like, why would you negatively visualize something? What is the outcome of that, right? But again, like they explain in the book, and again, this is backed by scientific research, she actually explains that the other side of mental contrasting away from backcasting, which is your positive visualization, is something that she explains as they call pre-mortem, which is the negative visualization aspect, right? Now, I'm going to explain this exactly how the book explained it. The book actually explains, despite the popular wisdom that we achieve success through positive visualization, it turns out that incorporating negative visualization actually makes us more likely to achieve our goals, okay? Oettingen, who is a professor of psychology at NYU, as I mentioned, has conducted over 20 years of research consistently finding that people who imagine obstacles in the way of reaching their goals are actually more likely to achieve success in that process. As I said, mental contrasting, right? And for example, there's actually a study out there. Now you guys can actually go and Google this research, but again, there are multiple studies. For example, she said her first study of a woman enrolled in a weight loss program found that subjects who had strong positive fantasies about slimming down lost 24 pounds less than those who pictured themselves more negatively, right? She then of course, Annie Ju does go on to say, dreaming about achieving a goal apparently didn't help that goal come to fruition. It impeded it from happening. The starry-eyed dreamers in the study were less energized to behave in ways that helped them lose weight. Now think about it from a habit perspective, right? Let's say, for example, just like in that example, right? If you want to become fitter, and let's say you set a goal, let's say I want to be X weight, and let's say you want to lose weight to X weight, right, in a month's time. Now you can positively visualize yourself as a very nice slim individual. Are you losing that weight, which is great, okay? But again, remember, this is more outcome orientated, and I do mention this quite a lot on my channel. It is when it comes to probabilistic thinking, you must shy away from outcome thinking and into process thinking. Now, like I said, if you're imagining yourself in this kind of slimmer body in a month's time, that's all great. You know, you will be having and feeling those positive feelings in that moment. But is that more likely for you to go and hit the gym on that day or the next day? Is that going to make you feel like you're going to hit the gym? In fact, it's not when you think about it. You're just going to be feeling good in the moment, but it's not going to actually energize you, literally quote from the book, to actually get you to the gym, to help you engage in that slimming down. And also, you know, diet is also important. However, if you imagine yourself slimming down, but also think about what happens if you don't slim down. Now, if you actually imagine yourself as either the same weight or having more weight in a month's time, how are you going to feel? Think about it. You're not going to feel as good in that moment. Now, are you? Now, one of the best things about that is that the fact that you're not feeling good in that moment is going to just tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen if you achieve your goal, but this is what's going to happen if you don't, right? Now, for me personally, and I'm sure for you guys can actually see the logic behind this, now that you've imagined yourself not achieving that goal, or you are visualizing yourself as a bigger individual than you are now, and you know you've done the opposite of moving towards your goal, then of course, you are more likely now not only to go to the gym, but think, okay, I actually need to start a diet program, and I actually need to get this going. You feel more energized to actually reach that goal. This is actually the twist. This is actually one of the powerful things that I found in this kind of book, is that couple positive thinking with negative thinking, okay, and why you wouldn't achieve that goal, right? For example, I know us traders do have this kind of sense of saying, okay, I want to pass a prop trading firm, I want to pass a prop trading challenge, so that you get funded and you have an account to, of course, trade with, right? Now, of course, you can positively visualize yourself having that account, right? It will make you feel good in that moment. If you imagine a big sum of an account that you manage, it's going to make you feel good, and yes, it does kind of give you that alignment and thinking, okay, that is my goal. However, you must bring yourself to the process orientated side of things than the outcome orientated. Then imagine yourself if you didn't achieve that goal. Now, if you didn't achieve that account that you wanted, you know, you would have to ask yourself why. And why didn't you achieve it? Well, because you didn't put in the work. You didn't put in the back testing work or the chart training. And that is what is impeding you from achieving that goal. Now, when you actually think about that in that kind of negative way and why you've not achieved that goal, that is what will make you energized to actually go out and back test and spend time with the charts and really put in the processes that will actually help you to achieve that goal, okay? So there you have it, guys. That is one of the edges that I have found, and also it is such a different kind of way of looking at things. I know, especially, you know, in the trading industry, we do talk about positive thinking, but again, couple positive thinking with negative thinking and thinking what would happen if you didn't achieve that goal and why, and that's the most important thing. And in that sense, you'll feel more energized to create the correct processes to create that same outcome, right? Now, this is another thing that I'll quickly touch on. Like, I think that this is something that traders can definitely do. When you are looking and thinking in probabilities, right, and you're looking for trades that work along your trading plan of thinking in a probabilistic manner, I know that some traders are out there that just want to get into trades that their mentor has got in, versus if you actually are looking to enter a trade, right? And you know the pair characteristics of that pair. And also from there, you actually start to map out what would happen if the trade didn't work out. So let's say, for example, you're looking at a trade setup and you're saying these are the 4 different outcomes for this trade. Now, if price does this, I'm happy to set my order and let price be, right? But again, because of everything that has shown me, I've said that, hey, it's more likely to do this and actually tap my order in and go, then I'm happy to take that trade. And in fact, when you think about it that way and you're thinking of all the different kind of outcomes, whether it's positive of a trade winning versus negative of a trade losing, and you've mapped that out, then you're more okay with the result, even if it is a loss, right? I know, I can imagine traders actually placing trades and thinking, yes, this is the winner. This has got to win. This is going to make 10%. This is going to make £50,000. This is going to make this trade, right? And they've just entered the trade. And then what they've done, they've created that expectation. And when that trade has just come out as a loser, they're really emotionally and negatively impacted. Whereas if they actually mapped out the different scenarios that would be positive and negative before they placed the trade and didn't have any expectation on the outcome of that trade, then that is coming from a different way. Like, oh, once that trade has happened, and even if it turns out to be a loser, they are not mentally perturbed in any way or emotionally perturbed. They're actually a lot more centered and ready to take on the next trade because they are thinking in a probabilistic way than a way of right and wrong, okay? So there you have it, guys. That is exactly why the law of attraction does not work. Of course, the law of attraction is talking about positive visualization, positive thinking to help you focus on some sort of outcome, and of course your decisions day to day will align yourself to that. However, coupled with negative visualization, as it says from the book, what they call pre-mortem, it is very, very powerful and actually gets you more energized to actually execute on the correct process that will eventually get that positive outcome sometime in the future, okay? So like I said, I got that idea from Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. Annie Duke is a professional poker player, and this is a fantastic book to anyone that wants to think in a probabilistic way. But again, I'm sure everything that I explained to you in this video does make a lot of sense. And like I say, if you have any comments about this video, please feel free to write it down in the comment section below. I can imagine that this is a little bit of shock to everyone that purely thinks in a positive way. But again, it makes a lot more sense, not only from the science perspective, but of course, getting you to implement the right processes day to day, and that is very important for compounding, and the outcome is just the positive benefit sometime in the future, okay? So be careful of that. Be careful of pure positive visualization and just feeling good in the moment. Also trying to couple it with negative visualization and what would happen if you didn't achieve the goal and why. That will make you and energize you, just like I said many times in this video, to actually put in that correct process, okay? So there you go, guys. I hope I provided you with some value in this video. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Take care, guys. Peace.